Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the Seagull Godin M4 Spruce Dulcimer. To play along with this lesson you will need a Seagull Dulcimer, the M4 version, tuned to G. That is G, string nearest your chin, D, the middle string, and octave Gs, the strings nearest the floor. This dulcimer is tuned to G. It could be tuned to D or it could be tuned to another key, but for the sake of argument this is tuned to G. People often say you can only play in the key of G because it's tuned to G. There are about 4 or 5 other keys you can play on without retuning the dulcimer. Now I'm going to say this, it's mainly rock, pop and 1950s and 60s songs. Some more complicated songs you can't, but if you're talking 3-chord songs you certainly can. And in this video we're going to cover the key of D. So let's get started. For this video you will need a D chord. If you've watched the previous lesson 1, you will see a D chord is played the same way. First fret of the low and high G. The next chord we need is a G. You can either do it open like that, second fret on the high G or second fret on the low G. The choice is yours. The next chord we need is an A chord. This is the first fret pressing down on all 3 strings. So you've got a D chord, a G chord, an A chord. So if you've seen lesson 1, you know your D and you know your G. And the A chord is that one, all 3 fingers at the first fret pressing down. I do it this way, some people bar and do it that way, using one finger all the way across the strings to press down. The choice is yours. So you've got a D, a G and an A. So now we'll apply that to the 12-bar blues. I will write the chords down below. So this time it's 4 bars of D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and first bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar, G chord, 2 bars, another bar, back to D, D again, A, 1 bar, G, 1 bar, D, 2 bars. So we'll go for that again. The chord of D, 4 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, 2 bars. D, 2 bars. One bar of A, 1 bar of G, 2 bars of D. So now we'll play the 12-bar blues at a bit more pace. 4 bars of D. Like the previous videos, my right hand is just moving 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you're counting to 4 with downstrokes, and in between you're doing an upstroke. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So, on a D chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... That's always strumming. But on the previous video we moved the D, and in this video we can the same. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... That's now 1 bar. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Repeat. 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 G chord, 2 bars. D again. A. G. D. Like the previous video, we can finger lift on the G chord. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I'm moving my hands out the way so you can see. In reality, you just got to lift them off a little bit. So the 12 bar blues in the key of D can now sound a bit more interesting for the listener. So if I walk through that slowly, it is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... You repeat that 4 times for the 4 bars of D. For G, twice, then back to D. Repeat. 1 bar of A, 1 bar of G, 1 bar of D. Now I will perform that song with all the extra bits added. To finish the blues off properly, after the last bar of D, A chord, then D. As you can see, it's relatively easy to play in the key of D on a G-tuned Seagull Godin Dulcimer. But there's another place you can play these chords, and we'll cover this now. This will lead on to the other lessons that follow. So, as you know, that's your D chord there. There is another place to play the D chord, and it's there at the 4th fret. So remember, this one there is the tuning pegs, is the nut. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you put all 3 fingers in that gap, that's a D chord. Or you can play it that way with 1 finger the choice is yours. Just remember, it's the 4th fret. That's the nut, the one nearest to tuning pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of playing a D chord here, you can play it here as well. But you can vary them, so you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A bit like in lesson 1 where we were changing the G chord around. This time we're doing it with D. So D in that position. 1st fret of the high and low G. Then all strings at the 4th fret. Now to change between the two it just takes practice, but what you can't do is this. I'm going to over exaggerate this to show you what I mean. When you change, you must do it within the beats. The way I do this is, when I'm playing D like that, I keep this finger on, simply slide it down, then add the others. So when I'm playing D this way, I keep this finger on the low G, slide it up to the 4th fret, then add the others. So you got D, 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 D. So to move back to the 12 bar blues for a moment, you can do 1 bar here. That is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and next bar. So in the first 4 bars of that on the chord of D, the 1st bar, slide up for the 2nd bar, back to D in normal position, so if we apply that to the 12 bar blues, it would sound a little bit like this. So what I did there was, in the first 4 bars, 1 bar of D there, the 2nd bar there, the 3rd bar there, the 4th bar back there, then G, and so on through the chord progression. And as you can hear, it just makes it a little bit more interesting for the listener. Well, I hope you found that video useful on the M4 Seagull Godin Dulcimer. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Blackpool Music School for more videos. I'll be posting more videos on this instrument, as well as cigar box guitars and many others in the weeks to come. So until next time, keep playing, keep practicing, and goodbye.